Okay, next we're going to talk about software and equipment. We're going to discuss the physical equipment that you'll need to create your product. So whenever you create information products, you want to make sure you have the best audio possible. Why? Because even if your video is amazing, when your audio sucks, no one's going to be able to understand what you're trying to tell them. So what are some of the different audio softwares? Okay, Audacity, which is available for PC and Mac. I believe it's even free. That's a slick little tool, but I found it a little bit complicated to use. Then you have something called GarageBand on the Mac. And I think if I invested the time, that's probably a great audio recorder because it has a lot of ability to edit and add effects and whatnot to the audio. And then what some people do to create their products is they just use Free Conference Call, which is a web-based application. The quality is not as good, but let's say you're doing interviews in order to build your product. That's a great way to do it. Or you can use Skype Recorder and do some sort of Skype video. Have not had great luck with that. I know Andrew Warner over at Mixergy does that quite a bit, and he seems to have luck with it, but I know he's also using some different products as well. What I'm using to do this right now is Camtasia. And Camtasia is a screen recording software, but they also have the ability to just record audio, and I find the editing to be super simple on there. So that's what I use. Okay, so let's look at the audio equipment. The first one up there is the Yeti Blue microphone. That's what I'm actually recording this particular product with right now. That's about $150 at Best Buy. They also make the Snowflake. They have the Snowflake at Best Buy, and that runs about $50. And then you have something called the CAD U37, which is a phantom-powered mic. What you'd use that for is if you're doing like video where you need to have a clip-on. That's a wired mic. We have a studio down in Sarasota, and we've experimented around with some different wireless lapel mics, and just no good luck all the way around. You want to have a wire when you're doing this. There's just battery issues and whatnot. The technology is just not solid state yet. So video software, okay? PowerPoint is really good. I mean, it's really good for what we're doing here because you're basically conveying information to people, and it's just a really good way of doing that. Keynote is basically PowerPoint for Macintosh. ScreenFlow is a screen recorder for the Mac platform. And then Camtasia is a PC and Mac-based screen recorder. ScreenFlow and Camtasia are both really good pieces of software. It's pretty simplistic in their nature, although both of them are growing every year. They add so many more new features. Okay. If you're doing video recording, you could also do GoToWebinar. That's a web-based version. And that's great if you're like, let's say you're assembling a panel of experts to build your product, and you need to pass the screen around between people. Or let's say that you're going to just record your webinar and make that your product. That's real common too. What's nice about that is you get those objections in there. You know, we talked about that. There is a product called Stealth Webinar that will actually let you record the video, do the questions, everything you need to do, and schedule it out, and then create the ability for users to schedule their webinars so that they can promote you as an affiliate. Last one we're going to mention is iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. Both of those are real good. I messed around with iMovie a couple of times, and I was really impressed by it. And then Windows Movie Maker, it's very simple to use as well. So when it comes to video equipment now, it really depends on what you're going to be doing, okay? Sometimes people just need content, and sometimes people need things to be perfect. The Kodak ZI-8, that's a camera, okay? And what it has is a built-in microphone input, where like if you're using a flip cam or something like that, they don't have that ability to attach an external microphone to it. Canon is kind of the high end. You know, if you want to get one of these Canon digital video cameras, you can, but you might pay, you know, for the high end one, you might pay $5,000. We have a Canon in our studio that I think we paid about $400 for, and it has a lot of the features. You could do something like the flip cam. Those are great. You know where the flip cam come in really handy is, okay, so let's say that you are an accountant and you want to teach small business accounting over the web and you're going to show people, here's the 12 steps that you need to know and you don't need to know anything else. So you're doing that and then you go to an accountant seminar and you take this flip cam and you find the top people that you want to do your testimonials with or you want to get interviews with. That flip cam is real handy. It's not so intimidating to people. It's a really good way to go. And then there's the iPhone. I can't tell you how impressive that iPhone is. They just take great quality photos and video. One thing to consider with the iPhone, though, is the light. Okay, you're not going to have much light for your video. You may want to consider some sort of external light source. All right, so then once you've got everything recorded, your pre-launch and your launch are going to be some things that you're going to need to do for your product, but this is a little bit more than we're going to cover in this particular course here. There's several products available on the market, and when the time's right, I want you to do a little bit of research on it to get the latest product launch product because that's always changing. One of the ones that we found helpful in the past is Product Launch Formula. You can get that at productlaunchformula.com. Your autoresponder. Your autoresponder is going to be key to making conversions on your product. Several marketers, including ourselves, have stated that 80% of their product conversions happen from their autoresponders. Now, that means that only 20% of their conversions happen on the first run-through. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that if you're not running an autoresponder as a backend to your sales page, you're probably missing somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of your conversions. So why is it so key? Why not just drive more front-end traffic? The reason being is that it takes a considerable amount of time, energy, and most importantly, your money to bring a new set of eyeballs to your landing page. You absolutely have to extract as much value from each visitor as possible. In our email marketing course, we go into how to set this up and every detail dealing with making money from your list. Feel free to go there now or continue on, and then you can go there later. Driving traffic. The final thing you need to do is drive traffic to your product. There are a lot of different ways that you can drive traffic to your product. Free traffic is traffic that you acquire primarily based on you investing your time to create content. Okay? Paid traffic is traffic that you gain by directly exchanging money for visitors. We discuss both forms of traffic in depth in our free traffic and paid traffic modules. Feel free to go there now, but in the meantime, here are a few tips to remember when driving traffic. Those who are willing and able to spend the most money to acquire a customer win. Okay, there's 100 different ways to look at this, but here are a few examples. If you're paying less for eyeballs than your competitor, you'll be able to purchase more eyeballs than they can for the same money. There's two ways that you can do this. One, you start with a ton of money or raise a bunch of money and then spend that money to acquire customers. Or two, you can sacrifice profits initially to gain the customer, then make the money up down the road. Most of us are starting from a position of not being able to raise capital, and frankly, our products aren't the raise capital products to begin with. And when you don't have money, you have to maximize customer value and you have to maximize conversions. Does this let you grow as fast? No, definitely not. But it also helps to keep your ego in check. Officers of companies that raise a bunch of money can afford to have egos. Developers of small products for sale on ClickBank simply cannot. Okay, testing. Let's talk about testing. We like to use Virtual Website Optimizer. VWO can be found at virtualwebsiteoptimizer.com. You're also going to need some advanced analytics when testing your products. We recommend Clicky as their analytics are easy to read and understand. All right, wrapping things up. Now that you have a complete overview for building your information products, if you have any questions, please forward them through support. We look forward to seeing your next info product available on the market. That's it. Other than that, here's some additional resources for you to take a look at, and please feel free to ask any questions you might have.